Hey everyone, welcome back to All About Bodybuilding. The 2025 Mr. Olympia left fans more confused than ever, especially after the results between Nick Walker and Martin Fitzwater. When you look at the comparisons, it's hard to understand how Martin ended up ahead of Nick. Nick brought size, muscle maturity, and insane density, yet the judges saw it differently. So, in today's video, we are breaking down what really happened pose by pose and asking the question everyone's thinking: was Nick Walker robbed again? During prejudging, Nick Walker didn't quite look like himself, a little flat, not as full or sharp as we usually see him. That gave Martin Fitzwater the early advantage. Martin's structure looked tighter, more balanced, and he presented his shape beautifully. But things flipped completely in the finals. Nick came back fuller, harder, and sharper, showing much more muscle density and better separation. His abs tightened up, arms filled out, and his overall look screamed freak factor. Even IFBB Pro League president Tyler Mannion talked about size being a major factor in this year's judging, but was Nick really smaller than Martin? Absolutely not. Nick clearly carried more mass, deeper muscle maturity, and a denser look under the lights. Yes, his waist looked slightly thicker, but his conditioning, muscle volume, and stage dominance were far superior in the finals. Martin had the edge early, but Nick owned the night round with size, separation, and maturity. This pose was close, but Nick Walker still had the edge. His chest was thicker and rounder, his arms and shoulders denser, and his legs showed better sweep and detail. Both athletes had decent conditioning, but Nick's muscle maturity and fullness made the difference. Martin has great structure and balance, but Nick's side leg, hamstring tie-ins, and deeper chest separation gave him a denser, more complete look overall. From prejudging to finals, nothing major changed, but Nick's dense muscle and round chest kept him on top here. Clear win for Nick Walker in this pose. Here, there's no debate. Nick Walker completely dominated. His back had more width, density, and definition. The traps, rear delts, and lower lats all popped with thick separation. Martin Fitzwater looked good, but his back lacks that level of maturity and detail. His glutes and hamstrings weren't tight, and the overall muscle balance was missing. Nick wasn't 100% crisp in the lower body either, but still far ahead of Martin. What confused many fans was the judging. How did Martin stay ahead even when Nick's back clearly destroyed him from every angle? The difference was visible, yet the scores didn't reflect it. That's where the conversation about judging inconsistency and politics really started. Once again, Nick Walker's dominance from the rear continued. His lats flared out wider, his back looked thicker through the midsection, and he carried more overall density from top to bottom. Martin, on the other hand, simply didn't have the same depth or spread. His hamstrings and glutes looked softer, and the pose lacked that complete, powerful look. If the judges gave Martin the edge here, it's hard to understand why, because structurally and muscularly, Nick outclassed him. The big question is this: just a few months earlier at the Pittsburgh Pro, Nick beat Martin in every pose. So how does Martin suddenly leapfrog him at the Olympia, even when Nick improved for the finals? It doesn't add up. Many fans believe politics played a bigger role than performance this time. Here, Martin Fitzwater gets the upper hand. His triceps looked dense, detailed, and grainy, popping beautifully under the lights. His midsection stayed tight and controlled, giving his physique a clean and aesthetic flow. Nick, in contrast, struggled to hit this pose perfectly. His waist looked thicker, and his triceps didn't show the same level of sharpness or maturity. He did have a stronger side leg, with deep quad and hamstring separation, but it wasn't enough to outweigh Martin's cleaner upper body shot. Martin Fitzwater wins this pose for his tighter core, sharper triceps, and overall better presentation. Both men brought strong conditioning, but Martin's aesthetics give him the edge. His abs were crisp, evenly separated, and his quads showed detailed lines and balance. The waist to thigh ratio looked tight and classic, Nick Walker displayed more size and density, but his waist appeared wider and disrupted the overall flow of the pose. His abs were strong but less defined compared to Martin's. Back at the New York Pro, this was one of Nick's best poses, but at this Olympia, he didn't have that same crispness. Martin Fitzwater wins this one for his tighter midsection and cleaner symmetry. Nick Walker takes over here, no question. His size, fullness, and grainy muscle texture completely dominate the stage. The chest, shoulders, arms, and quads explode with density and separation. Martin Fitzwater looked great aesthetic and balanced, but Nick's power, maturity, and fullness was simply too much. This pose reminds everyone why Nick is one of the most dangerous bodybuilders in the world when he's full and dry. The most muscular pose goes clearly to Nick Walker for unmatched volume, muscle maturity, and stage authority. When you break down every pose, Nick Walker wins most comparisons. He had better size, density, muscle maturity, and overall presence. Martin Fitzwater improved massively this year, no doubt about that, but Nick's finals look was on another level. The real question is, why did the judges place Martin ahead? Nick's final physique was sharper, fuller, and more complete. His score in the finals, 59, compared to Martin's 51, raised a lot of eyebrows. If Derek Lunsford was rewarded for size, why wasn't Nick? He's clearly bigger and denser than Martin. So what happened here? Was it biased? Was it politics? Or was it simply a decision made before they even walked on stage? Whatever it was, this Olympia left fans and even fellow pros questioning the fairness of modern judging. So, after analyzing everything, one thing is clear: Nick Walker didn't deserve to be pushed down the way he was. His finals physique was sharper, fuller, and overall more complete. Martin Fitzwater has improved a lot, but Nick brought a level of muscle maturity that's hard to match. Still, the judges placed him lower, and that's what's frustrating fans the most. Whether it's bias, politics, or something behind the scenes, this year's Olympia reminded everyone that sometimes bodybuilding isn't just decided on stage.